Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. Quick little video blog. I need to answer a very popular question, and then I have some fantastic news. I'm not really sure why I picked up a pen and started playing with it. So first things first, the biggest or most asked question on my YouTube channel is where was I for about 2 years? I was trying to be an adult, is the actual answer to that question. I was in college. If you go back to like 2013 and watch those videos, I talk about it all the time. I was going to school. I had a lot of coursework to do. It was a rather intensive program, both physically and from an actual school standpoint. I had lots of courses I was doing that needed like research papers and assignments, and then I had some more hands-on classes where we were training horses and coaching riders, and then there was just the regular farm life with chores and everything to go along with that. And then in addition, I was also juggling a part-time job and YouTube on top of that. And I was trying to work as many hours at my actual, like my job, I guess you could say. I hate saying YouTube isn't a job because there's lots of people that actually make a living doing that, and that's fantastic. Good for them. I wish I was popular enough to be able to do that. So that's kind of what I was doing there. So obviously kind of real life always had to come first before YouTube, and then as I got more into the horse industry in Alberta here, I ended up having less and less free time. I started working for other horse trainers as their assistant. Then I went and got my coaching license, so I'm actually a licensed riding instructor. And then I actually started up my own business, so I was coaching and I was training. I was starting horses giving horses their first few rides for horses that had never been ridden before. For those of you that aren't familiar with horses. That's what I was doing, and it was taking up pretty much all of my time. And then kind of around the same time, about halfway through college, my old computer that I was doing all my gaming on, it crashed, it died. I lost a gigantic amount of data, not only just my personal files like pictures and like kind of sentimental stuff. I lost all my school stuff, and I lost all of my YouTube stuff, which probably not that big of a deal. Most of it was all just video files from a YouTube perspective, but that also included all of my custom maps that were available for download. And of course, at that time I didn't have an external hard drive, so very few files had actually been backed up. Really the only files that you can consider that I had a backup of was stuff that I had printed off, pictures, documents, that kind of stuff. So at that time, because I was in school, I wasn't really working that much. I didn't really have the money to go and replace said laptop, so I ended up just getting kind of a cheaper one. It wasn't strong enough to game on, so that's where the rest of my hiatus comes from. I just didn't have a setup that was conducive to recording. When I did try and record, regardless of how I dropped the settings in Minecraft or upped the RAM allowance for things or just changed the settings in the recording program, nothing was working enough that would stop the ridiculous lag spikes where the video content and the game were taking like 5 minutes to actually respond to moving one step. So obviously that's not good for viewers to want to watch. They're not going to want to watch any of that. And I didn't want to try and play a game that was that ridiculously laggy. So I went for a long time just not gaming in general, because my laptop wouldn't allow it. I was super busy trying to make money and survive in the big adult world. So it was, I don't really see why I have to actually explain that I had time off from certain things. I know, like, once you get to a certain point in life, you kind of branch off and you start doing other things, and that's kind of where I was going with my life, and it still is. We're still moving in that kind of general direction to where I probably won't be doing gaming videos, but for the meantime, that's what I'm going to do, and we're back. So for those of you that still want to watch the videos, then fantastic, watch the new ones. For those of you that don't want to, then don't. You don't have to post ridiculous comments on the videos that say one thing or another as to where I was or what have you. I guess it doesn't really matter. So anyway, enough of that kind of complaining and explaining again for the countless little video blog of where I've been for the last couple years. Oh, and actually, side note, if you want to check out what I have actually been up to, I have a secondary channel called Dreamscape Horsemanship. That's where I post all the things related to my horse business and my horse things. There's a bunch of training videos on that second channel, as well as just me riding a bunch of different horses and at different stages of their training. The descriptions of the video usually say what I'm doing if there's no narration in the video. And then there should be a link to the Facebook page for Dreamscape as well that has a bunch of other stuff. It has pictures of my personal horse and what we've been doing to get him ready to take to competitions and to horse shows. And there's also a lot of stuff about all the other horses and the riding lessons and the custom tack that I make as well. So that's all part of a second channel and a different Facebook page. I keep both channels very separate, so you won't see me cross-posting things. So if you want to check out kind of the horse-related actual business stuff of what I've been doing, that's where you can find that, but I won't post a link. It's a simple search in the search bar. It shouldn't take much more than 5 seconds. So the good news that I wanted to talk about is that in the time spent over the last few days, I noticed there was quite a few comments on the videos that were for my custom maps, the HorsecrazyMC Ranch, the Simply Horses stable. Those particular maps, I think I had one up that was my original survival LP map, like the whole big tree fort and everything. I have actually retrieved those files. I did a lot of messing around with my computer and tracked down a couple people that had actually downloaded those files in the past that still had a copy of them, so I got the save file back from a couple friends of mine that still happened to have it on their computer, just, you know, covered in cobwebs type thing. So I got a couple of the maps back doing that. The rest of them I was able to track down through Mediafire. My account was closed because I hadn't uploaded anything for like 2 years. So Mediafire and Dropbox both closed my accounts. I had gotten an email notification, so at that time I probably should have signed on and retrieved the files, but again, life got in the way, it just didn't happen. But I was actually able to download all the files again. I'll put up like a little thumbnail in the corner there that'll show you guys like the gigantic list of files. I'm going to put them into my Minecraft. We're going to launch them back up in 1.7.10, which is what Perry and I are playing on right now for our survival multiplayer LAN server map that we have. The first episode is already up. Second episode will go up tomorrow, so on and so forth. So I'm going to open them up in 1.7.10 and hopefully give them the little bit of updating they may or may not need, since they were made in like 1.5 or 1.6. Actually, if even, they're probably like 1.4. I'd have to look at the save file and see what version it says the map was originally made in, and I'll get them updated, and hopefully by, like, I hate putting timelines on things because I never stick with the timeline I say, but I'm hoping to get them all updated over the course of the weekend and into early next week, and hopefully have them all back up later on in the week next week. So they will be available, so don't panic. I responded to a few comments on those original videos that kind of gave like a tour of the map with the link, with the Mediafire link in the description. I replied to a few people. There's so many comments I don't have time to actually sit down and reply to everybody. But I did reply to a few people who were asking why the file wasn't showing up or why they couldn't download it, saying that I did have the file, that I retrieved it, so I'm hoping to get them put up later on in the week. So, sorry, my dog's just lying on the floor there. He was just making weird noises. I'm just making sure he was okay. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for episode 2 of the LAN map, which will also be available for download in the future as well. Because I think we're going to have a pretty sweet map with that one by the time it's all said and done. But the funny thing about Perry is he always likes to add things over time. So once we get the actual fort set up and going, I'll probably steal the save file. Since it's saved on his computer, I'll save the save file. We'll put it up for download, but the funny thing is we're probably always going to have to update that link with the newest save file because he's always going to be building things in different parts of the map. So the nice thing about the journey map mod is, or well, I guess just hitting F3, we can log the coordinates of all the different builds. So that way if we end up building a fair ways away from the actual main home base where you'll spawn, at least we can give you the coordinates or the waypoints for journey map, and then you guys can find all the different builds, or you can just run around the map and find things and explore, and it'd be a cool surprise, I guess, when you explore a little bit. So that's kind of what I've been up to and what's new, so stay tuned to the channel for more updates and so forth, and I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.